Do you guys remember what I said about reviewing single issues in my Uncanny review a while back? How you can't judge a full story just based on one part of the overall story? Yeah, well, screw that policy, because this is an issue that I need to talk about and review for you guys, because it's really something interesting and something special. I have to say, despite my love for what Hickman's been doing with Avengers, and especially New Avengers, which is easily one of my favorite Marvel Now books, if not my favorite Marvel Now book, of the entire line, maybe next to All New X-Men, Infinity wasn't something I was really interested in. It just seemed like another one of those events where they hype it up as something that'll change, the whole Marvel Universe until the next status quo changing event comes a year later, and an event beforehand becomes completely and utterly, superfluous and pointless. But after reading Infinity #1, I can tell you this is not one of those events. It's just a big, fun story that spans literally the entire Marvel Universe. One thing I need to get out of the way before talking about the rest of the issue and actually reviewing it, you cannot read this without reading the rest of Hickman's Avengers stuff, because this is a storyline that's been built up in his Avengers work for like almost a year now, and if you really want to appreciate this or even understand what the fuck is going on, then you need to read Avengers and New Avengers together to truly grasp all the straws and understand why all of this is happening. So, issue #1 has its own issue, but it also has the Free Comic Book Day prologue issue, which sets up what Thanos has been up to all this time and what is his objective during Infinity. And I really, really like that they included this, because the Free Comic Book Day issue was very... it wasn't very good standalone, but as a piece of the bigger Infinity storyline, it actually makes a lot more sense. It shows how... what has Thanos been up to, what is his objective on Earth, why is he targeting Earth now, what kind of new allies does he have, how is he getting these new allies, through what means and stuff. And I thought including that here with Infinity #1 was a stroke of genius, because it really lets people who really don't understand where the hell these new partners of Thanos came from, this is where they came from. It explains it all, and as part of this bigger issue, it works very, very well, and it shows just how much influence and power Thanos has, over these rulers and kings and emperors and stuff throughout the whole galaxy. Then the story jumps around to different points across the whole world. It begins with Galador, the homeworld of the Space Knights, being destroyed by the Builders, who are the antagonists of Infinity. You see Thanos sending one of his assassins to steal the secrets from Black Bolt's mind, because he's a member of the Illuminati here, and he has a lot of secrets, stored away in his noggin. And you have the Avengers dealing with alien activity on Earth. It's when Captain Universe appears on board the flying headquarters of SWORD when things get really interesting, because the Avengers and Ex Nihilo, from Avengers, Hickman's Avengers, the first volume, they realize that the Builders are pretty much fucking shit up across the entire galaxy. They are wiping out planets, empires, species left and right. The most powerful ones that are left standing, like the Kree, the Skrulls, and the Shi'ar, they're all scrambling to prepare their armies. They're just gathering all their power for the impending slaughter, and the Builders, they are coming for Earth. The Earth is pretty much the epicenter of bullshit as far as the galaxy is concerned. The people of Earth have they have done so many of these galaxy-shattering, timeline-destroying, cosmic, things that have just completely destroyed the very fabric of the universe, and this is why the Builders are coming after them. And it's pretty understandable why, Earth is their final target, and they are going to cut through all of the other species just so they can get to Earth, and the Avengers are forced to join the fight. What's great about this particular issue is how it manages to set up so many things to come, and how it shows the full scope of this story, because this is a story that truly spans the entire Marvel galaxy, not just Earth, the entire Marvel Earth universe. I mean, literally, the entire Marvel galactic universe. Everything is here. You see all of these different species, all of these different, planets and stuff being attacked by the builders, even if you see it for a little while. And it really shows that this is a galaxy-wide spanning thing. It's kind of like Star Wars, you know, in its scope and size, and it's pretty damn impressive, because the Avengers have never gone through something like this. They have never been to a point where there is one big threat that is just destroying alien races across the galaxy and they're forced to join it. And I thought the scale of this book was just really, really damn impressive. Like, the scale alone puts almost every other event to shame. And with a storyline that spans most, if not the entire Marvel galaxy, you'd think that the character stuff would probably suffer for it. But that's not actually the case, because Hickman still manages to give every character involved in the story his or her own unique voice. No one sounds the same. Everyone has great banter with each other, and there are just these great little character moments sprinkled throughout the entire issue. And it just shows that while there is this big epic stuff going on, the people involved here are still people. They feel human. They talk like real people would. And it's just great that he's able to tell this big epic event-like storyline and still keep the character interactions and the characters themselves, you know, at the standard of quality that he did in his Avengers. What's great about this book is also something James is probably going to like, because it does something really, really new. It does something with the heroes where it puts them in a position where they have to do something they've never really done before, and that's interact with the aliens in a different way. Because Earth's whole relationship with heroes is pretty much this, with a few exceptions like Silver Surfer and a couple of aliens coming to help them. Like the hero's relationship with almost every alien species is that they're enemies, they hate each other, they fought them all, yada yada yada. There are a couple of exceptions here and there, but for the most part, Earth has been pretty hostile to the other species of the galaxy, and the other species have been pretty hostile to, you know, us Earthlings. But now that the apocalypse is literally happening right before them, and the Avengers know that all these empires are pretty much scrambling, you know, to get as many men, as much of a armada and stuff built in time to fight these guys, the Avengers realize, look, we are not going to last 2 seconds against the builders the way we are. And so the Avengers are forced to go out to people like the Kree, the Skrulls, the Shi'ar, all of these people they've, you know, fought in the past, and they're forced to pretty much make an uneasy alliance with them, because if they don't all team up, the galaxy is going to be completely obliterated. And I think that's such an interesting idea, because we can finally see the heroes actually work with the aliens. Our relationship with the aliens doesn't always have to be hostile. Like, when shit goes down, we can all work together to face the big threat. And I think that's just a fantastic idea to take Marvel characters into. Another thing that I really, really loved about this issue is Jim Chang's art. His art here is nothing short of spectacular. There were just a couple of panels where I just went, holy shit, that's pretty damn good. The inking is a bit iffy. I saw that this was inked by a couple of different people, and that made it feel a little inconsistent. Sometimes his art looked like Dustin Weaver, sometimes it looked like classic Jim Cheung, sometimes it kind of looked like Lionel Yu. Not that he drew like any of those other guys. I mean, the inking just made it look like that, and made the issue feel just a teensy bit inconsistent. But besides a couple of issues like that, I thought the art was just holy shit amazing. And my only real problem that I have with this storyline is that we don't know how the builders are back and why are they doing this. Now, Thanos' whole motivation in this storyline is that the Earthlings pretty much fucked up the very fabric of the universe and the time stream itself with Age of Ultron. They have done too much alternate universe jumping around, they've done too many rewinds or time traveling crap, and they've pretty much destroyed the very fabric of the universe and the time stream. And Thanos and a bunch of these other alien, you know, beings, they've noted that Earth needs to pay. Like, these Earthlings have done way too much damage to the galaxy itself, to the universe itself, that they have to pay. And that's pretty much his whole motivation here. But we don't know what the motivation for the builders is. And this is one of the problems of reviewing single issues, because I'm 99.9% sure we're going to get the answer to that next issue. And my complaint here is going to sound completely, pointless. It's not going to matter anymore because they answered it. But as of right now, where we only have one single issue of this whole event, we don't know why the builders are doing this, and I can only really speculate. I'm pretty sure their motivation is similar to what Thanos wants to do. Like, he wants to make Earth pay, and I think the builders are doing that too, but on a much higher scale. I think the builders have realized that if they want to fix the universe, they basically have to destroy all life, erase everything and everyone, and just start over. And I'm pretty sure that's their motivation for doing this, but like I said, the issue itself doesn't really give us enough to go on, and so I'm just kind of speculating here. But the whole thing with the builders is that they are all about selective stuff. Like, they're going to murder every species that doesn't seem worthy, but if they find a species that is worthy, they're going to give them everything. They're going to give them, like, beast technology. They're going to give them the best shit in, the galaxy and stuff, and they are not above destroying, like pan-galactic genocide. Like, these guys are fully willing to do pan-galactic genocide if it means creating new life that's better than the old, and they just don't care. It's all about evolution to them, and I think that's a really fascinating idea for a villain. But like I said, the issue itself doesn't really give us enough to go on what their motivation is here, and that's pretty disappointing. The structure between Avengers, New Avengers, and Infinity is weird, and some people are going to hate this because you have to read Avengers and New Avengers to get the full storyline. Basically, Infinity itself deals with the Avengers and this new alliance fighting against the Builders. Avengers deals with the Avengers basically going to the Shi'ar, the Skrulls, the Kree, all these separate races, and trying to build this alliance. And New Avengers is actually about Thanos attacking Earth, because Tony Stark left like the Illuminati on Earth so they can defend it in case something happens, because they can't take all of the Avengers to space and leave the Earth completely defenseless in case something happens. So they leave the Illuminati, a couple of the like the X-Men down there too, to basically protect the planet should something happen. And New Avengers is going to deal with Thanos, attacking Earth, and how the Illuminati and the X-Men are going to deal with all that stuff, and the Inhumans as well. The Inhumans are kind of with the Avengers, they're kind of with the Illuminati. I really don't know where their place is yet, but you pretty much get the point. And I usually hate buying tie-ins, but since I'm reading these books every month anyway, it really doesn't bother me. And he said you don't have to read any other tie-ins. Like, all you need to read is Avengers, New Avengers, and Infinity to get the whole storyline. Would I have preferred that they just made this like a 12-issue series where everything is included in the main Infinity book? Yeah, but when you think about it, that would make the storyline jump around a bit too much. Like, issue 1 is Avengers going to space, issue 2 is Avengers getting the Skrulls to team up or whatever, issue 3 is back to Earth, and then issue 4 is back to space. And I think it would make the pace of the book feel really, really weird. And I hope that Hickman is able to do the main Infinity book without the tie-ins, but he did say that if you want the full experience of Infinity, you have to read Infinity, Avengers, and New Avengers, and I know that's going to bother some people who aren't buying at least one or two of those other books to read this one on a monthly basis. So yeah, that is a potential problem for you. And I have to say that this issue had two of my favorite scenes of the year. The first scene is where the Galadorian Space Knights are basically fighting the Builders, and there's this young brother and sister on the planet of Galador. They're kind of standing in the ruins, and then Captain Universe shows up in front of them and tells them the Galadorian Space Knights are going to lose, and then the boy just tells them, no, these guys are our heroes. They know that they can't lose, because if they do, everything they love, everything they want to protect will probably be destroyed. That's why they won't lose. And in the end, the whole planet gets blown up. And I think that was so fascinating, because it shows that while heroes are, heroes and stuff, everyone thinks that heroes can do no wrong, that heroes are like the pinnacle of awesome, they're always going to win at the end. But it showed a realistic scenario when you're dealing with an apocalyptic situation like this, not everyone's going to pull out. Like, even if heroes know they can't die, like they know that they have to win, that doesn't mean they're going to win. like, especially against a threat like the Builders. And I thought that was so fascinating that in the end they all died anyway. Their heroes failed them. And I know this is never going to happen to, like, Earth in the Marvel Universe because it has to keep going and stuff. But I thought it was such a fascinating idea to show that heroes are not invincible. They can bleed, they can die, kind of, without them coming back 6 months later, but they can bleed, they can die, and just because they have the urge to win, like they have that need to win, to save what they're fighting to protect, that doesn't mean they're going to win. And I thought that was a fascinating idea right off the bat in the beginning of the issue. My second favorite part of the issue is at the very end, where Thanos basically gathers all of his new allies and he pretty much tells them he's going to attack Earth. And they have so many different reactions, but you can pretty much sum them all up like this. Are you fucking insane? I mean, everyone has tried to take over the Earth. The Skrulls, the Kree, the Shi'ar, you who became literally God in Infinity Gauntlet, you tried to take over the Earth, and you still failed. And they all just say that trying to take over Earth is pointless. Their heroes are gonna save her all the time, that no matter what you throw at Earth, it's always going to pull through. And I thought that was so Grant Morrison-y. It was kind of like, yeah, I know I can't do anything to the Earth because it's 616, it's not Ultimate, so that means everyone on Earth is gonna pull through and stuff. And I thought it was so funny, because they're all just saying, like, the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Like, who the hell in their right mind would risk attacking Earth, especially since everyone and their mother has tried to take that place over and no one has ever succeeded? And I thought that was really funny. I thought that was really meta. Maybe there is some kind of Grant Morrison-esque commentary with that, but I just thought that was such a great ending to the issue. And overall, I really, really love this. Like, I have to give this an A-. Like, this really caught me off guard. I really wasn't excited for it, but it easily just blew my mind, and this is probably my favorite issue of the week thus far. You know, I haven't read everything from my pull list, but this was just absolutely fantastic. So yeah, A-. I think everyone should be reading this. You get like 64 pages for $5, which is pretty good. And I really don't have anything else to say. Like, I just really enjoyed this, and I think it was absolutely spectacular. So yeah, I've got nothing else to say. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.